Did you know that during the pandemic, singing in public was actually banned in some places? From restrictions on karaoke in Japan to singing bans in parts of the US, countries around the world introduced some truly strange rules to control the spread of the virus. These measures, though meant to protect public health, often sounded extreme. Welcome to Bizarre Regs, where we explore the most bizarre rules and regulations of the world. At the height of the pandemic, governments everywhere scrambled to create rules that would limit the spread of the virus, especially in crowded spaces. Because the virus spreads through respiratory droplets, activities like singing, shouting, or even laughing in close quarters were flagged as potential risks. To reduce the chances of transmission, some countries went as far as banning these activities in public. While many rules focused on masks and social distancing, the bans on singing and other vocal activities went even further, sparking a range of reactions from public support to complete disbelief. One of the strangest examples comes from California, where singing and chanting were banned in places of worship for a time. Officials argued that these activities increased the risk of spreading the virus in enclosed spaces, especially when people were gathered closely together. This rule faced a lot of criticism, with religious groups arguing that it infringed on their rights to worship. Many questioned whether the government should regulate what people do inside places of worship. Despite the pushback, the rule remained in place during the height of the pandemic, underscoring the extent to which governments prioritized health measures over traditional freedoms. In Japan, where karaoke is hugely popular, authorities imposed strict restrictions on karaoke bars. During the pandemic, karaoke was considered a high-risk activity since people often sing loudly in small enclosed rooms. To comply, many karaoke bars implemented plexiglass barriers between patrons and limited the number of people allowed in each room. Some even introduced rules banning certain loud songs. For many people in Japan, this was one of the most difficult restrictions, as karaoke is a common social activity, and its restrictions highlighted how far-reaching the pandemic measures really were. In South Korea, the government went as far as to limit high-energy gym classes, like aerobics and spinning, believing that loud music would lead people to breathe more heavily, potentially increasing virus spread. The country's rules restricted the music volume in fitness centers to 120 beats per minute or less, essentially banning fast-paced workout music. Gym owners and patrons alike were bewildered by the rule, with many joking that it felt like a scene from a movie. Despite the unusual approach, the rule aimed to prevent any unnecessary increase in respiratory droplets and keep gyms open under stricter safety guidelines. So, how did the public react? As you might expect, reactions were mixed. Some people saw these rules as extreme but necessary measures to protect public health, while others felt they went too far. In some places, people even protested these restrictions, arguing that the government was infringing on their personal freedoms. These debates highlighted the challenge of balancing health guidelines with individual liberties, a topic that became increasingly complex as the pandemic wore on. Will we see similar rules in future pandemics? That depends. These unusual restrictions reveal just how flexible governments can be when public health is on the line. While we might not see a return of karaoke bans anytime soon, future health crises could bring back some of these measures, or inspire new ones. For now, though, we can look back on these bizarre regulations as a reminder of the lengths we went to during a truly unique time in history. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode of Bizarre Regs, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more strange and unexpected laws. Did any pandemic rules in your country surprise you? Share your experience in the comments below. This is Bizarre Regs, where we dive into the world's most unusual rules, one regulation at a time.